Hey everyone, this is James Wilson with Fruit of BJJ and Self-Defense, and today I'm going to talk to you about dry fire, which is where you practice using your gun without using ammunition. Now today we're going to talk specifically about our handgun skills that we can practice, or some of the basic ones we can practice through dry fire. So why would you want to consider incorporating a dry fire routine into your self-defense practice? Well, handgun skills, like a lot of other things, are a perishable skill. Meaning that if you're not practicing them on a regular basis, then they are probably getting worse. And if you want to improve those skills, well, the more often that you can practice them, the faster that you're going to be able to do that. But how do you do that with your handgun? Well, for a lot of people, that means going to the range and actually shooting their gun. And while shooting your gun is a lot of fun, and that is the main purpose of our handgun skills, is to be able to shoot well, the truth is that you can do a lot of things without actually having to shoot the gun. Now, going to the range for some people is difficult because they don't have access to one easily, so they can't get to it several times a week. We have an ammo shortage going on, so ammunition can be very expensive. And so there's a lot of reasons why most people who have a handgun and want to be able to improve their handgun skills can't get to the range on a regular basis. And this is where dry fire would come in. If you think about it, the only skill that you really need ammunition for is recoil management. Everything else that you need to do with the gun, you can do without actually firing ammunition. And so you can practice all of these skills at home in a, again, we'll go over some safety tips, but in a convenient environment that is free. So it makes it very easy for you to practice these skills. And so let's say that you want to get into doing dry fire, right? So one of the things that you're going to want to do is set up a dry fire area. It can be called a dry fire dojo is what I've heard it called commonly. And so you're going to find an area that is safe, right? So all the safety rules are still in place. Okay, we always treat the gun like it's loaded. We never, we keep it pointed in the safe direction. Finger off the trigger until we're ready to pull it. So all these things are still in effect. But what we're going to do is set up an area. For me here in my gym, I've got some targets set up. Make sure that this is a safe backstop. This is actually a brick wall behind this. And so you want to be as safe as you can with all these considerations in case there is some sort of accident, right? The other thing is to make sure that you don't have any ammunition around you. And so after I have checked and cleared my gun here, then I come into the dry fire dojo and I leave my ammunition in another room. And so that just decreases the chances of any sort of accident or anything like that happening. But again, with a few basic safety precautions and following your handgun safety rules, then dry fire is a very, very safe thing to do. And so some of the basic things that you can do is practicing your draw and presentation. And so especially if you're a concealed carrier, your ability to quickly draw and present your weapon can literally be the difference between life and death. And the more often you're able to practice that skill, then the better you're going to get at it. And so I'm going to grab my cover garment that I'm going to use for this demo here. But again, getting set up, let's say that I have a target away from me here that I'm going to aim at, so get covered up. And again, just as simple as hands on the side, draw, present, and then again, if you want to go ahead and fire, you can do that. That's the other thing, is pulling the trigger, right? And so you get your sight picture and then pull the trigger, and there should be no movement in your sight picture. So if you've got iron sights, you shouldn't see the sight at the end moving. If you've got a red dot, you shouldn't see that dot moving. And so you're actually able to practice a good trigger pull without any sort of input moving the gun as well. And so, go ahead and reset, boom, and again, just draw, present, fire. You can practice your follow-up, and then reload. Okay, you can practice from different, hand positions. So you got a hand up, right? Practice one-handed. So say you've got something in this hand, or you're not able to use this arm, so being able to draw, and present, and fire single-handed. You can also practice from different positions. So you can have your back turn and practice turning and drawing. You can practice stepping off the X, as they call it. So getting off the line and presenting the gun. So a lot of different things you can practice there. I'll actually practice doing a break fall where I'll fall backwards and practice, getting the gun and shooting from my back. So in case I got knocked down for some reason and had to access my weapon. So with a little thought and imagination, you can think of different positions and different scenarios that you would want to be able to practice using, drawing and using your weapon. And again, you can do hundreds, thousands of reps for free, right, at your convenience. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on this, 2 to 3 times a week, 10 to 15 minutes can go a long ways towards improving your handgun skills. So again, you can practice reloads, you can practice moving. There's just so many things that you can practice. Like I said, when you really break it down, you realize the only thing that you need ammunition for is recoil management. And so you can practice all these other skills in the dry fire environment and then practice your recoil management at the range, and then all those things come together. So, personally, I do competitive shooting. That's where I like to go out and see how all these things are coming together in some sort of simulated stressful environment. I know it's not the same as having people shoot back at you, but it is somewhat of a simulated stressful environment. And so again, but that's where you get to kind of see how are all these things coming together, figure out what you need to improve on. You can develop those things through dry fire and range time. And so again, this is a good way to keep yourself motivated, because again, you're seeing yourself progress. It's not just shooting your gun. You realize that there's all these other skills that you need to practice. You can see yourself progressing in these areas. And then again, if you're doing something like competitive shooting, then it can help you see how these things are coming together, which again, just helps motivate you to continue to train, so that if one day you actually did need these skills in a self-defense situation, they're going to be you'll have them on lockdown, and you're not going to have to be thinking about them as you're trying to do them as much, because you practice them. You've got the muscle memory burned in with how to execute these skills. So anyways, hopefully these things, these tips have given you some ideas. You can find out more about dry fire at the dry fire workshop that I'm going to be putting on, which you can find out more at fruitedbjj.com. So hopefully you have enjoyed these tips, and I will talk to you next time.